What's going on, guys? It is MurderInc here, back with another Read Shadow Legends video. Today we have a really cool one for you. We are going to be talking about the hardest hitting champion in the game. Now, I've made videos like this before, however, I did not include a lot of conditional champions. What does conditional means? It means they need some type of CC to bring out their damage. Someone like a Trunda that has the option to conditionally hit twice if they don't have a stun. Things like that are considered conditional damage. Now, I'm going to show you the number one conditional damage dealer. It's not someone that's enemy max health. It's not someone like a Seer or a Dracomorph with that surplus damage, even though that was nerfed. I think you're going to be quite shocked at who this champion is because you really don't see a lot of people using him. Now, with all of that being said, let's reveal who this champion actually is. Today we are talking about Robar. Who would have guessed this champion is the best raw damage dealing champion with the condition in the entire game? Now, what skill are we talking about? We are talking about Merciless Assault. Attacks all enemies, damage increases if the target is under sleep, stun, or freeze. We wouldn't want to do freeze debuff because that does reduce the damage the target takes. Stun, there isn't a 100% stun champion in the game. Sleep, we do have a 100% sleep champion, which is going to be Kaimar. Really excited to show you. I just did this on stream. We had a ton of fun building this champion, trying to make him work. We put him into the arena and the numbers are absolutely insane. So I'm really excited to show you guys that. I am going to be using a strong affinity, so I was able to sacrifice a lot of crit rate just to show you the gear. Obviously, I used insane gear, 6.7 thousand attack, 298% crit damage, and I am using the Helm Smasher Mastery. Now, the first thing we're going to do here today is we're going to take him in a Dragon 20 run. So let's see what our friend Robar here has to say and what he has to do with this team of Battle Khazar, Dracomorph, Kaimar, Gerptuk Mossbeard, and then finally Robar. Let's see what he does against this first wave, and just wait. Just wait for it. We'll take this off of auto, put it to 1x speed. Defense down and weaken comes out first. Battle giving that damage increase based on the poisons on the target. Gerptuk Mossbeard increasing the damage based on the debuffs here. Now this is where the 100% sleep comes in, granting it lands, and let's see. 4 of the 5 targets are slept. So the one all the way to the left isn't, so we're going to focus on the 4 numbers to the rightmost of this mob. Let's slide this over just a little bit here. And Merciless Assault, let's see the damage we have going on here. 374,000 was the highest number I just saw. Let's just think about that for a second. 374,000 damage. Absolutely insane. This is why this guy's incredible. Yes, I have good gear on him, but no one is hitting that hard. Things to consider. We don't have an attack aura. We don't have an attack up buff on this champion. We just have conditional damage multipliers of Battle, Gerptuk Mossbeard, and finally we have Robar's built-in conditional kit with that freeze. So now we're going to reset all of the cooldowns. And let's just see, out of curiosity, what this A2 does with no debuffs on the target. 91 to 97,000 damage with no debuffs on the target. So he already hits hard with his A2, and yeah, incredible champion. I have gone over him in the past before, and he just offers so much. So what I want to do is, now that we've seen that, let me just leave this run here. And we are going to replay the run, and instead of using his A3, which is the hardest hitting conditional one, we're going to go ahead and use, so this is what I was worried about. We don't want Draco upstaging anyone, doing too much damage. All right, perfect. Let's do the poison. Let's debuff ourselves for increased damage. Now, we don't have to sleep. That doesn't really matter anymore, but we'll do it anyways. Now, let's see how hard is A2 hits with all of this stacking damage up. 254,000 to 200,000 damage. This guy's just a monster. Now finally we went over that. Let's see what his A1 does. If you've been playing this game for a long time, you know that Robar in a stun set or Robar in Relentless gear was absolutely insane. He gets extra turns. He was one of the reasons why Relentless gear actually was in fact nerfed, is he did something interesting that I've shown a few times. He actually stored extra turn charges. So if he procced Relentless and stunned the target, he would actually store extra turns. So once he stopped proccing extra turns, he would just keep getting multiple turns over and over again. I believe the highest I've seen was actually 12 extra turns coming out from a Robar, which is just insane. So they did fix that, and they definitely needed to. But let's see how hard his A1 hits. All of this damage with all of the gear I have on this champion. Once again, we'll just sleep them just because we can. Let's use this A1 here. We'll go in an order from right to left to see if we can get those extra turns. 202,000 damage. 167,000, probably without Helm Smasher proc, so that's what we have going on here. Really cool to see. Now, out of curiosity, let's defense down weaken. Let's see if we can do another full setup. Okay, we won't have the poisons here, but we will be able to use the A2 ability with debuffs on them so we can actually see what we're dealing with here. So let's see, you know what, even better, for comparison, let's see the A3 without the damage increase from the sleep. He also doesn't have the poisons and Gerp Tuck, so it's not the best comparison, but out of curiosity, let's just take a look. Okay, so as we can see, Gerp Tuck, Bad L, and his condition on that A3 really adds up. We're almost 200,000 damage less. Actually, we are 200,000 damage less. As mentioned before, the most damage I've seen, someone claimed on stream they saw 464,000 damage done by this guy. I didn't personally see it, but it was a lot of fun. The highest I personally saw was 398,000 damage coming from an AoE, which is incredible. There's no way to get around it. Absolutely incredible. And he is the highest AoE damage dealer in the entire game with that condition. Now that we saw Dragon, let's go into Arena for some real fun here. It's really hard to build an Arena team with this champion because he's very slow at the moment. He doesn't have 100% crit rate, and it's really important that he gets a turn off. So what we can do here is, let's go ahead and fight this team right here and see if we actually get a turn. I do have Arbiter here, making sure that he has a higher chance of going first. As we can see, we do have the Apothecary in the team. So let's see how much damage our Robar is going to do. We do have this on 1x speed, so we're going to start with Attack Up, which is a buff he didn't have before. I'm not going to have defense down or weaken, so we're going to see just how much that matters. One thing I didn't consider is I need to sleep them. This is an on-hit ability, and we have 3 strong affinity champions here, which can prove to be an issue. Okay, we only have 3 of them asleep now. And we boost the turn meter to go. Okay, let's see what Merciless Assault does in the arena against these champions. 260,000 damage without defense down, so just keep that in mind. Now we can do this on auto, let this run to the next battle. He's a lot of fun to play with. He's someone I'm going to be looking at much closer. As we just saw there, 188,000 damage with no debuffs on the champion. So he's doing more damage than Trund is doing on a double hit, and it's just incredible. Let's see if we can find another team that we can test this on. Let's go for... There's no speed buff here. There is a weak affinity. We're looking... Okay, this team should be good. There's no red affinity for the Kymar, so the sleep should apply to all of the champion. Take this back to 1x speed. Boost the turn meter. Debuff all of the enemies. Sleep the enemies. Ooh. Thankfully, we didn't get any kills there. Boost the turn meter again. Unfortunate that he went there. So we only have 3 slept enemies here. Let's see what we're going to do. 180 to 119,000 damage. Obviously, it subtracts the shield damage, so it's definitely a little bit higher, but still insane champion. You don't need the gear I'm using. Obviously, no one has over 100,000 health. Realistically, some champions might. Very, very endgame gear. Let's give this a refresh to try to get an actual tank team like this one. We have the defense aura. I'm really liking how this is looking so far. Hopefully we don't get cut off in speed too hard here, and we can't survive. The only thing to worry about is Raglan cleansing the debuffs. That's something we definitely don't want here, and it looks like they're all actually slow enough to make this possible. Let's try to put them all to sleep, and it worked for everyone but Raz and Scarhide. Now we are going to use our signature move here, and let's see what happens. 337,000 damage on this Skull Crown. So we had 187 on Raglan, who's probably geared with a decent amount of defense, decent amount of health. 337,000 damage without defense down. I keep saying that, I know, but just imagine that, without defense down. Absolutely absurd number to see and get hit. Now we're just going to pray that this Skull Crown doesn't one-shot the whole team. Alright, perfect. And then 195,000 damage on his A1. So obviously that's a glass cannon Skull Crown, but the fact that I just pulled that much damage off with an attack up buff, there's no attack aura obviously, no defense down, no weaken. It's just insane. There are no other words for what Robar is actually doing here. I've known about this for a while. I don't know why I waited so long, to be honest with you, to test this out. It was a ton of fun. This is looking like a good team here, although they are red affinity, so it's going to prove problematic for Kymar. We have more red champions here. So honestly, none of these teams are looking too promising. Let's find one more team to really, I don't really want to face a bot team. One more team to really make this shine and see what our maximum damage is going to be. As much as I would love to face these teams, I'm going to get lapped and it's not going to work. I'd have to build him without showing him in a damage showcase, although this has potential to work. I'm worried about Val cutting everyone off before the sleep actually gets to be applied. We won't know until we test it out. So let's speed boost here. Her turn meter is going to go up, and it's going to go up one more time here. And that was enough to cut off our Kymar, which is not good. Let's see if we can boost and sleep, remove the buffs. Okay, so so that's the only bad part about what's happening here. The poisons actually get rid of the sleep debuff, give them a turn. We have ally attack there. He should still do a decent amount of damage if he ever gets a turn. I'm not sure why. I mean, I know why. He has very low speed, but I'm waiting in anticipation to actually get a chance to use his A3. Here we go. 1 speed. Let's see what we can pull off here. 122 to 146 without that condition wasn't enough. We did get a weak hit against the Valkyrie, which was unfortunate. And honestly, I don't think any champion in this game can actually weak hit and kill a properly geared champion. As we just saw there, 95,000 on a defense, probably a defense heavy Valkyrie. But if you can one-shot a champion with a weak hit that's properly geared, I would be extremely impressed. Alright guys, that is it for my video. Let me know what you think. Were you expecting the champion, the hardest raw damage, conditional, AoE damage dealer in the game, to actually be Robar? I know Seer can do more damage. I've personally had my Seer hit for 600,000 to 800,000 damage. However, I don't consider that raw AoE damage. There's a lot of buffs that go into that champion, but Robar is definitely a beast. He is second to no one in this game. Unless a new champion comes out, I would be very shocked for anyone to overtake Robar in any scenario. I'm going to do some more work on Robar, see what I can come up with for the arena. I'm not sure. It's going to be rather difficult to get Kymar to actually work in an auto team for arena. However, I'm fairly confident with the gear that I have, I can make something work. I'm going to have to re-gear Robar to not be as absurdly geared as far as damage goes, because right now there's no team in the game that can survive this. Obviously Rotos requires 2 hits, so he can counterattack, but anyone besides a Rotos is going to get one shot by this champion with this specific gear on. So I can definitely lower the gear quality, work on tuning the team, and come up with an awesome team with Robar. If you have this champion, you haven't been using him, you have champions that provide a stun debuff or a sleep debuff, definitely consider using him. As I just showed you, his damage is off the charts here, so you have a lot of potential to overcompensate for some gear you may not have if you want to use him as a nuker. It's definitely worth considering to further boost your progression, whether it's dungeons, faction wars, arena, whatever you may choose. Alright guys, as always, if you like this video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I will see you all in the next upload.